Hey everyone, this is James Wilson with MTB Strength Training Systems and BikeJames.com, and today I want to talk about why clipless pedals are not 20, 30, 40, even 50% faster or more efficient or better than flat pedals. You hear this number thrown around. I kind of wanted to address it, mainly because yesterday a video came out on pinkbike.com where they threw out this number that clipless pedals are 20 to 30% more efficient than flat pedals. And I was glad to see that some of the people in the comments actually called this person out on, well, where is this data? And personally, I feel it's very irresponsible for Pink Bike, which is the largest mountain bike media source on the planet, to allow one of their contributors to post something that has a number like that has no backing. For them to have no backing for that number and to run with it was very irresponsible for them. But here's the problem. A lot of people throw this number out. How did it get on there? Well, people think this is common knowledge. Everyone knows this. I've heard anywhere from 20 to 30, even 50% more efficient than flat pedals from a lot of people, and they just say it like it's a fact. Well, what is really going on there? Because the thing is that's not true. There is no evidence whatsoever that clipless pedals are 20 to 30+% more efficient or faster or better or anything more than flat pedals. You look at any studies, anything like that, and where clipless pedals are better, they are better by 2, 3, maybe 5%, right? So it's not this 20, 30+% improvement that you're told. So where did this come from, right? Like, a lot of people don't even understand where this came from. And where this came from was a biomechanical model theory that you wanted to push and pull at the same time. That if you pulled up on the backstroke, and this is where the original 50% number came from, because the idea was that if you're able to pull up on the backstroke, you're adding power to 50% of the backstroke that you're not doing if all you're doing is pushing. So if you're pushing and pulling at the same time, you are adding 50% more to, power to 50% more of the pedal stroke. And so that's going to make you 50% more efficient. Or they would say you can, use your hamstrings to curl up, so you're using more muscles, which makes it more efficient. And so it was this biomechanical model that you needed to push and pull at the same time, where they started to throw out these numbers about it being, 50%, whatever, better. Well, over time they started to revise these numbers because, one, the eye test didn't pass, right? Like, everyone could see that people on flat pedals, especially of comparable skill and experience, were not 50% slower. Like, people weren't jumping on clipless pedals and being automatically 50% faster. Like, this number never materialized. And so it started to get pushed back into something, to where it's at now, where you hear like 20 to 30%, that number there. But again, that's where this came from, was this model. But here's the problem, is that was a theory, right? Anyone knows how science works, is you come up with a theory and then you test it. And if it withstands the test, if it holds up, then great, that theory has some validity. But if it doesn't, well, you need to revise the theory. And the problem is when they have tested this biomechanical model theory of pushing and pulling at the same time, they have found that it does not work better. That it is actually creates less power and burns more energy when you're trying to purposefully pull up on the backstroke, as opposed to simply pushing hard on the downstroke and letting the trail leg come up and do its thing. The way that the brain is wired is that when you push hard with one leg, the other side's hip flexor fires to pull that leg up. That's why when you're running or walking, you don't have to think about pulling the other leg up. It's something that we automatically do. And so what the studies have found is if you try to add to that upstroke, you don't add power to the pedal stroke, you actually take away from the downstroke. Your brain can only focus so much neural juice to one thing at a time. So if you ask it to do something unnatural, like pull hard on the upstroke, you're taking away the ability to push hard on the downstroke. And what you're making up on the backstroke it's not more than what you're losing. So that's why you see a decrease in power and a decrease in efficiency. You're actually burning more energy to do it. So again, there's studies that show this. There's EMG readings that show how the leg actually works during the pedal stroke, and it does not match this biomechanical model theory. So again, this theory where this original 50% that's been revised down to 20 to 30% number comes from has been disproven. But the problem is the cycling media and the clipless pedal industry don't have another theory to trot out there to explain why you need clipless pedals and why clipless pedals are so much better than flat pedals. Because if clipless pedals are 20 to 30% better, well, then that's worth dealing with all the stuff that comes along with them, the not being able to get unclipped and the falling over and the extra overuse injuries that come from just being locked in the same position all the time, and just how unnatural an interface that whole system is, and all of that, right? Like if you weren't being told that it was this huge advantage, most people wouldn't bother with it. So, that's the problem, is that the clipless pedal industry and the cycling media don't have another theory to throw out there. So they keep throwing out this 20 to 30% number, and everybody knows, and they ignore the actual science that exists. Remember, there is actual science that exists about this stuff, but they continue to ignore that, and they continue to promote this disproven biomechanical model theory because, again, it helps sell clipless pedals. And if you look at websites and magazines, a lot of the advertisers sell clipless pedals. So it's in their interest on some level to continue to promote this model, because some of their biggest advertisers sell clipless pedals and want this model promoted. So again, if you don't know how this works, if you haven't seen this from the other side of the curtain like I have, you don't understand that a lot of the stuff that you're told by the cycling industry is driven by advertising dollars, and who's paying for advertising and what do they want to have put out there. And so again, that's why you have such an irresponsible thing like this 20-30% number showing up on Pink Bike, and you hear this number being thrown around all the time in the cycling world, but it's absolute nonsense. There's no proof whatsoever, not a shred of evidence, that clipless pedals are 20 to 30+% better, anything, more efficient, faster, whatever. There's no evidence of it. So again, look at the actual science and then make your own conclusions. But we have to stop doing that, especially the cycling media. Like, you guys owe more to the cycling world, to do your own research and actually be some sort of journalist, instead of just, puppets for, or parodying the company line for your advertisers, right? So like, you guys owe it to be more educated than the average rider and know these things, so that you can speak more intelligently about them and not throw things that are just absolutely ridiculous, like 20 to 30% more efficient than flat pedals out there. So anyways, you can learn more about this at bikejames.com. You can check out the Flat Pedal Revolution Manifesto, where I have the actual science behind the pedal stroke there, and so you can make up your own mind based on that. You can learn more at pedalinginnovations.com too, where I have the Catalyst pedal, which is the world's only pedal that's actually designed based on this science and not this disproven biomechanical model theory. So anyways, you can learn more about it there. So anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and I will talk to everybody next time.